Good evening everyone, and welcome to Balderton Methodist Church 7 for 10. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Kathy Bates. I'm going to begin this evening's little talk with a Bible reading, and you may think the reading is about doing a bit of joinery with your brother, but hopefully after my little talk everything will become clear. Jesus told many stories as illustrations, and this reading is an illustration about being judgmental. And the reading is Matthew 7, verses 1 to 5. Do not judge, or you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, "Let me take the speck out of your eye," when all the time there is a plank in your own eye? You hypocrite, first take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. I'm going to tell you a little story now, and this is a true story, and it's a confession really about the time when I judged by appearances. I used to regularly pass a restaurant on my way home, and every time I passed this restaurant I looked at it and I thought, well, who'd want to go there? The garden was very unkempt and the paintwork looked as though it needed attention, and it just didn't look very nice at all, and I often said to myself and to my family, not really a place I'd like to go. But things changed actually, and one day we had a visit from a distant cousin of mine, and we'd not seen this cousin for a long time, and she came along with her husband and the family with 3 children, and it was just such a lovely surprise when they knocked on the door. So they came in and we had a lovely chat and we had a cup of tea and a piece of cake. And actually I was quite pleased because I'd done some baking the day before, so they managed to have a nice slice of a homemade cake. So as we sat and chatted, I thought to myself, I need to invite them for an evening meal because they've had a long journey, and it'll be nice to spend a lot more time with them. So as we were chatting, I was thinking, well, what have I got in the freezer? What have I got in the cupboards? I'm sure I can put something together and put on a spread for a large gathering. So I said to my cousin, would you like to stay for an evening meal? She said, well, actually, we're going to have an evening meal, but you don't have to cook. I've taken the liberty and I've booked us a table at the restaurant, and actually it's just down the road from here. Well, you can imagine how I felt. So I said, oh, okay, right. So she said, yes, I've got the table booked. So let's get ready and let's go in a little while. So we got ready, and with trepidation, we walked towards the restaurant and had a little bit of a look round and a little bit cautious. Anyway, when we got to the restaurant and went through the door, I was pleasantly surprised because the interior was, well, 100% better than the exterior. So we went along and we were shown to our table by a very efficient person, and we sat down and ordered our meals, and I held my breath. But then the meals came and they were delivered to us, and the food was absolutely lovely, and I was pleasantly surprised. And I thought, I shouldn't really have judged this, should I? Because I should have waited to see exactly what it was like inside. So that occasion reminds me a lot of how easy it is to judge without knowing the full facts. Just like I was wrong with the restaurant, many times our judgments of people can be wrong. I'm going to tell you another story now, and this is a story about a young woman and a man at an airport with a packet of biscuits. So are you ready? One night there was a woman at the airport who had to wait for several hours before catching her next flight. While she waited, she bought a book and a packet of biscuits and found somewhere comfortable to sit while she waited. Well, she was deep into her book when suddenly she realised that there was a young man sitting next to her who was stretching his hand with no concern whatsoever and grabbing the packet of biscuits lying between them. And he started to eat them one by one. Well, not wanting to make a fuss about it, she decided to ignore him. She was slightly bothered, but she ate the biscuits and watched the clock, while the young and shameless thief of biscuits was also finishing them. The woman started to get really angry at this point and thought, if I wasn't such a good and educated person, I would have given this daring man a black eye by now. Every time she ate a biscuit, he had one too. The dialogue between their eyes continued when only one biscuit was left. She wondered what he was going to do. Softly, and with a nervous smile, the young man grabbed the last biscuit and broke it in two. He offered one half to the woman while he ate the other half. Briskly she took the biscuit and thought, what an insolent man, how uneducated. He didn't even thank me. She had never met anybody so cheeky, and was relieved to hear her flight announced. She grabbed her bags and went towards the boarding gate, refusing to look back to where that insolent thief was seated. After boarding the plane and nicely seated, she looked for her book, which was nearly finished by now. While looking into her bag, she was totally surprised to find her pack of biscuits almost intact. If my biscuits are here, she thought, feeling terrible, those others were his, and he tried to share them with me. Too late to apologise to the young man. She realised, with pain, that it was her who had been insolent, uneducated, and a thief, and not him. How many times has our lack of trust made us judge other people unfairly with our conceited ideas, often far away from reality? That's why we have to think twice before we judge others. Have there been times when you've judged others without thinking about the circumstances? I hold up my hand. There's been many. Let's look at the second part of the reading in Matthew's Gospel. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, let me take the speck out of your eye, when all the time there is a plank in your own eye? You hypocrite, first take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. It's a lesson to learn. We can be complacent without acknowledging our own imperfections. There are many occasions when we can be critical of others without knowing their circumstances. The other thing about judging others is that it cheapens the price that Jesus paid for mankind. Jesus gave his life for all humanity. That means each person has value to God. Because each person matters so much to God, when we judge others, we are disloyal to God, because Jesus on the cross paid for each person. Let us pray. Father in heaven, help us to be mindful that it is not our place to judge others. Help us to trust in your almighty plan and the power of your love to capture our hearts. Transform us into the people who love unconditionally, just as you do. Help us to see people the way you see them, and to be filled with compassion. Help us to respond with love and understanding, to show your love through our words and actions. Lord, you make the impossible possible. Thank you for filling us with your love and freeing us from the compulsion to judge others. We ask these prayers in the precious name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you for listening tonight. It's been good to be with you, and we look forward to seeing you again on Sunday morning at 10:30 and also next week 7 for 10. So take care. Good night. God bless.